My bad if I'm a little late on this. The other night, all Republicans unanimously voted against Amendment 31. Amendment 31 is an interagency cooperative plan to identify, discuss, and eradicate white supremacy within our law enforcement agencies in America. Let me repeat that. Every single Republican voted against Amendment 31. And Amendment 31 was an interagency cooperative plan to identify, discuss, and eradicate white supremacy in our law enforcement in America. Now, why, oh why, would you not want us to identify, discuss, and eradicate white supremacy in our law enforcement in America?
Our silence is so disorienting for them. They want us to be mad and scared so bad. And y'all just refuse to give that to them. So here we are with made up stories about mobs of youth taking over the streets of DC with threats to occupy other predominantly black cities. But we predicted this. We saw this coming. We've said that we saw this coming. And so to make this announcement and to do all of this extra just feels a little bit embarrassing on their part. Like, y'all been running the same playbook for 400 years. We saw you coming, guys. We heard you. White supremacy is literally a joke. They know it, we know it, and they know that we know it. They will do anything to hold on to whiteness because without it, they are nothing and would have to admit that there is absolutely nothing supreme about them and that other cultures have run circles around them, even with 400 years of a head start and stolen labor. White supremacy, Trump and MAGA are literally the death rattle of white supremacy, and they are fighting tooth and nail to stay relevant.
Oh yeah guys, welcome back to the channel and I hope you are all doing good. White supremacy is not just an ideology, it's a system built on centuries of lies, violence and the exploitation of black pain. You know guys, for generations it thrived in silence, protected by power and fueled by fear. But now that silence is being broken. We are seeing people waking up, the world is watching, and those who once stood at the top of that system, they are trembling because the truth can't be stopped anymore. That is why in this video we are talking about the system that is cracking, the system built on white supremacy. It's cracking and those who benefited from it are panicking. You know guys, I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Let's just get into this video.
You know, my sheer existence is evidence that the white male patriarchy is dying in this country. As our good friend, That's Rich, pointed out recently in one of his videos, what we're witnessing is an extinction burst of white supremacy in this country. They're fighting tooth and nail and, desperately trying to cling to power and ideology that is inevitably being destroyed. White men now make up about 30% of the population of this country, and out of that, half of them cast a vote for the orange man, which means 15% of this country are white men that believe in sustaining this patriarchy, as well as many white women that have been conditioned that there's nothing wrong with having their boot on their neck. But there's many, though, white men that are like me that were raised to believe this stuff and more and worse, however, have shifted their focus to be a better, more inclusive future, and one that represents what we truly are as a nation and what we truly need to become, rather, as a nation. I might know it might not seem like it right now, but this is the death of the white male patriarchy. It is inevitable in this country. But I promise you, they're not going to go quietly, and it's going to get darker before it gets lighter. So, we need to stay focused, band together, and fight like hell. But we do that shit, we're going to come out the other side better nation, I feel.
It's been absolutely hilarious the last couple of days watching all these evangelical Christians who all of a sudden care about prophecy and the Jews fulfilling prophecy. And really what it is all their white supremacy is just coming out. Because now all of a sudden, Israel and Hamas and what's happening in Gaza, all of a sudden, that's filling prophecy. And they never cared about any of the prophecies concerning the people that call themselves Jews. Because if they did, they would pick up and they would see that Ashkenazis are sons of Japheth from the line of Gomer and not Shem. And they would see that their whole claim, the whole Zionism claim, is false. They would see that the true children of Israel, according to prophecy, are scattered into all these different nations by way of ship. And that they have spent most of the last 400 years, or most of the latter days, serving their enemies, not the Most High. Their heritage was taken away from them. Even says that in Jeremiah 17 and the prophets 17:4. They have no idea who they are. It says that in the Torah that and the prophets that their enemies would become their gods because they didn't want to serve the Most High. That's how much dominance their enemies would have over them. But now all of a sudden, these people are fulfilling prophecy. Now the white evangelical Christians and those of you that follow them, now all of a sudden these people are fulfilling prophecy. And that's amazing to me. And you just show what liars and hypocrites you are and how you don't follow that book. It's a tool for you to maintain supremacy. And see, what's happening is this is not the valley of Jehoshaphat. All these nations aren't gathering against Israel or what they call the nation of Israel, because they're with the Most High. They're gathering against Israel because they're sick of white supremacy. And the Holy One himself is sick of lies.
White supremacy is dying. But it's not anything to celebrate just yet. And I want to spend the next few moments reading to you an essay that is available in my bio on my Substack about the system of genetic apartheid that is being built to take its place. Final goodbyes. White supremacy is dying, but don't celebrate just yet. To be dying is not the same thing as dead. Personally, I won't celebrate until the whole system is not just abolished, but nullified and obsolesced. I want to see the master's house burn to the ground with my very own eyes, and have a new home to throw a house party at afterwards. Nonetheless, I want to, if not celebrate, remind ourselves how we got here. The mythology of white supremacy has long been enough to deter most white workers from turning to communism as a solution to the conditions of their material suffering. But whiteness is mattering less and less these days if you want affordable health care or even just food in your stomach with these tariffs. As prices rise, people tend to get focused on survival. The mythology of superiority is no longer enough to perpetually distract white workers from the suffering of their material reality under racial capitalism, especially in a world where the class inequities between them and tech billionaires grow wider and wider every moment. And as the gap between rich and poor widens, white folk pushed to the margins are confronted with the fact that their material reality inches nearer and nearer to blackness every day. And as the vantage draws nearer as they approach those margins, so do the contradictions of the color line become clearer. Whiteness has never, in all of human history, mattered less and been weaker than it is now.
And just as a side note, when they say, don't you know this is Australia in the 21st century? Dear brother and sister, we were all born here, most of us. We don't care what country this is. Let's just be very, very blunt about this. This whole culture of being afraid what they're going to say about us because we're in this or that country has to stop. They need to know that we don't care what they think about us. We need to care what Allah Azza wa Jal thinks about us. You think they have a culture that we're afraid with? You know, they say, Don't go against the modern culture, the majority culture. Do you think they have a culture that remains of theirs? Do you think anything will remain of their culture in 50 years, dear brother? It'll get swallowed up by multiculturalism and waves of migration. You know it, dear brother. The white supremacy of the West is finished. It's yesterday's news. So stop trying to please the white man, as they say. They know that their culture is going down. We need to stop caring where we are and when we are, and care what Allah is pleased with. Islam is the same here as it is over there in any country. So get over it.
Yeah, guys, yeah. For centuries, these people profited from black pain, culture, and resilience. But now the truth is too loud to ignore. In this video, we are here diving deep into the unraveling of racial hierarchies, how media and politics expose their fears, and why this moment is a turning point in history. We are not just witnessing a fall; we are witnessing justice in motion. Yes, so these people are trembling, and we have heard from the speakers. They are saying the truth can't be stopped anymore. So white supremacy was never about strength. It was about control. It told one group they were superior while dehumanizing another. It justified slavery, segregation, and the criminalization of black identity. But every empire built on lies eventually collapses. From the plantations to the prisons, from redlining to mass media, the same system that tried to erase black voices is now facing the consequence of its own corruption. Yes. And let me talk of the transition to modern times. Today, white supremacy hides behind different names: tradition, nationalism, free speech, but its fear is showing. Every demand for equality feels like an attack to those who have always been on top. Every truth revealed about stolen culture, stolen labor, and stolen lives shakes the foundation of their false superiority. They cannot handle a world where black power is not silenced, where black excellence is not ignored, and where black pain is no longer their profit. What they don't understand is this: the fall of white supremacy is not the end, it's the beginning. A new world is being born, one built on truth, empathy, and shared humanity. A world where black joy is no longer resistance, it's freedom. Where our stories are told by us, and our futures are written by those who refuse to be erased. Yes, so white supremacy is falling. And it's falling hard. It's falling apart. And those who built their power on black pain are getting terrified. But blacks are not here to comfort their fear. Blacks are here to build the freedom they deserve. Stay awake, guys. Stay loud. Stay proud, because the story of black liberation is still being written. Yes. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. This video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes as well, and also for information purposes. In case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section. Stay tuned until the next one.